Well, it's Tuesday Wrestling, and you know what that means. So finally, NWA Powerrr is back, but that's not the only thing we're going to review. We're going to review AEW Dark and Impact Wrestling. So get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I'm your host, J Rod here. So once again, I said it earlier, the NWA Powerrr is back. Now, it's been so long that I've seen it. Now, however, you're not going to be able to see NWA Powerrr like we normally did in the YouTube. For those who haven't seen it, if you guys have Fight TV, then you will be able to watch it there. But however, you have to subscribe to it. It's only $4.99 a month. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it's a good deal, to be honest with you. So I was very exciting to see. However, if you click this thing where you says watch, you only get the first 10 minutes of the match. But however, it's a little bit worth it. All their videos from YouTube are gone. But that's how it is. But let's get started with their latest episode, which is episode 22. I know they haven't done it along with the Powerrr that long. So, as you know, recently they just introduced a new commentary team in the in their latest pay-per-view back for the attack. They have Joe Galley and Tim Storm, but this time they added a third person in the commentary, and this one, she's well known through the TNA and Impact history. I'm talking about Velvet Sky, who was one of the founding members of one of the most over the top, and of course, was Knockouts champion and Knockouts tag team champion, Velvet Sky. It's great to see her. If you guys are wondering, she is not wrestling. She's retired from wrestling, but I follow her on her social media, but she still looks good. I mean, she still looks the same to me. But however, I have to say her being commentator kind of brought a good perspective. So it starts out with the interview with the so-called Strictly Business. Of course, Tom Latimer being a jerk, he thinks that the interviewer is saying stupid things. But however, there were certain things they had to address. One, the condition of Trevor Murdoch, you heard it because of what Chris Adonis did. What's his name? Nick Aldis said he condoned it. But however, Nick Aldis did say that sooner or later, Camille will get to obtain the NWA Women's Championship, and Tom Latimer will still have another shot of the television title. He believes that he should have won it, but it didn't turn out that way. But we'll see what happens. As you know, Strictly Business, they tend to act like they think they care, but they don't. They're normally looking out for themselves. Now, the first match, it's Camille, who we all saw was an impressive match against Thunder Rosa, faces one of Thunder Rosa's proteges, and you know her on AEW Dark. I'm talking about the Pink Dream herself, Alex Gracia. Now, to be honest with you, I feel with this match, it felt like a little pointless because it showed a bit more like Camille is the most dominant force ever. She's already demonstrated that she wants to get what she wants, which is the NWA Women's World Title. And of course, she won easily for herself. Now, the next interview we jump in is with the Pope. As you know, he came up with a very tough battle against Tom Latimer, but he did state it that he's going to be a fighting champion. The guy really put up a hell of a match against Tom Latimer, despite the fact Tom Latimer did not did not obtain the one thing he felt he desires, which is the title. However, the interview was interrupted by Austin Idol, but this time he didn't come alone. He had Tyrus, as you know him as Brutus, some, Rufus, or that guy from WWE. Apparently, turns out that he has a new protege that would he wants to make as the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and that is Tyrus. So the real question is, when will that be? But the other question we probably should ask: does Nick Aldis has the capability to hold that title as long as possible? He has held it for a very long time, since 2018. Yeah, 2018. If you all recall the history, Nick Aldis won that title a couple years back from Tim Storm, and then he lost the title to Cody Rhodes in the All In pay per view. And of course, he got it back at the 70-year anniversary from NWA. So we'll see what that happens. Now, the next match is for the number one contendership for the NWA television title. Now, however, Pope decided to stick around in commentary. Velvet Sky stepped down so he can give his opinion on the competitors. There were 3 competitors involved in this match. You may have heard of them or not. First one is Fred Rouser, who we have seen. He's been very impressive recently in New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. And of course, well famous in the independent scenes. And he's been with NWA before. Talking about Matt Cross and a guy I never heard of named Marshall Rocket. Now, Pope it doesn't say who he wants, but whoever's going to win is the one that's going to be the one to challenge him. I have to say, to me, the fighter who I was kind of picking on this one was Fred Rosser, because I know that Fred Rosser should have had a bigger name back with WWE years ago, but nope, it did not happen. But I have to say, him being impressive not only in New Japan, strong, but I have to say, him being on the NWA, it's good for him. And I was very amazed that he picked up the victory to win a title shot. Now, the next one we have another interview, but this time in the backstage area. We have Slice Boogie, who was very impressive on his first win in the MWA. He says that he wants the best competition ever, but he did stated that right now he is 1-0, which is true. He's 1-0 in NWA. Like in general wrestling from any promotion, that's yet to be seen. But in NWA, he did state it, he is 1-0. Who will be his next competition to face? Don't know. But he did state he is going to come for gold one of these days. But the real question, which one? I doubt will be the world title that quickly. My personal options he probably would get is either the national or the heavyweight. No, the national or the television. That's the way I kind of predict it. Now we see Mike Perro, or as we know him, Perro, who we've seen on the NWA, has made his return to NWA since the 70th anniversary, taking on Jordan Clearwater. But this match was more like David versus Goliath. In this particular match, Goliath won. So you can say all you want that you don't like Perro, but the dude is a monster. You know what I'm talking about. Now, we just hit to another interview, but this time in the front of the ring, we have Thunder Rosa, who now the NWA are recognize her as one of the best women wrestlers in the world. We know she had a very impressive match last week in AEW, and of course, all of that. And she, of course, gives props to Camille, but however, she felt that she's the one who's been carrying the name. I mean, it's true the way I see it, because she was the women's champion when NWA was out of business, and she carried the name ever since she lost the belt. But apparently she had a surprise visitor, someone that we don't know if we can trust her, but we know her reputation. I'm talking about Melina. Yes, we haven't seen Melina not since the beginning of 2020, ever since Thunder Rosa won the NWA World Women's title from Allison Kay. But apparently she's trying to say that she wants to be in her life, be her manager. Now the real question is, can Thunder Rosa trust her? But I'm going to tell you my personal opinion on this one, in story wise. Hell to the no. So that's yet to be seen, but Thunder Rosa refuses to talk about it. So we're going to wait and see in the upcoming weeks what's going to happen. Now we get to the main event, which is a main event for a six-man tag team match. We have on one corner the television champion, the Pope, teaming with the World Tag Team champions, Kratos and Aaron Stevens. And in the other corner, we have the members of Strictly Business. I'm only referring, as you know, Royce Isaacs is no longer with the group or NWA. It's only Tom Latimer, Camille, and Nick Aldis. So you only have Latimer and Aldis coming out. But however, Aldis lied. It turned out that his little I don't know what Chris Adonis did is the third partner. So basically, they lied. It was a very interesting match. They even tried to separate Aaron Stevens from making a tag, but he was able to succeed. But Kratos nearly could have lost the match, but he did in a way when he tried to use the chair. Now, could this be a chance that we see the tag team champions dissolve? It's a possibility. I mean, Aaron Stevens was an arrogant person from the very beginning, if you guys recall. But now that because of Joseph Hutz's passing, I feel like he's transitioning. Okay, I'm gonna do things the right way. Now, I'm kind of curious in this matter since he lost the match. Is this something he wants to do now? Transition from a heel to a babyface? I don't know. I mean, in real life, he must have been hurt. Really was hurt losing Joseph Hudson. But if this is something he's going to do, I say let's watch and see what's going to progress. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Let's just see what happens. We analyze and make opinions on it when that time happens. So I think that's it right now with the NWA. Let's go with AEW Dark. Okay, so we got AEW Dark. A really interesting matchups that they had. Uh, First match of the night, we have Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico taking on Dark Order members, Johnny Hungy, and of course, Alex Reynolds. I have to say, Reynolds and Silver has been very impressive in their tag team competitors. I mean, we all seen that the Dark Order has an impressive tag teams in their group, but I have to say these two fit the bill for me. And I do like certain moments that are really interesting to see. I'm surprised that everybody forgot that it was Chaos Project that crashed -1's birthday. Luckily, no one. I'm like surprised that no one brought that up in the commentary, but they did make fun of Luther's third eye that -1 made reference to. But thought it was, but it was a good match. But I did like the finisher uh, that they applied to Serpentico. I thought it was a pretty good one, and I liked it. Really good match. So Silver and Reynolds won for the Dark Order, and we'll move on. Now, as you know, recently the wins and losses matter, sort of thing. As you know, in the tag team division, Pac and Ray Phoenix do have a shot of the AEW World Tag Team titles, but however, to fight for them is yet to be seen. However, they're not the only ones that are also in line for a tag team championship. I'm talking about the number one ranking team at this point in the ranks. We're talking about SCU's Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. Now, they're fully aware about the whole thing. They even don't care if the Death Triangle decides to get those titles sooner. It wouldn't make a difference. But however, they made in their match against who were they facing? Joel Nelson and Royce Isaacs. I think Excalibur made a fantastic point. They put a lot of pressure on themselves to ensure that they win their matches. If they lose their match, then they actually will be splitting up. I mean, that's a great uh, concept that they're putting themselves into, and it kind of worked in its way. I think I like the idea of the story, how they're going to go. But the real question, I know that we've been seeing them less and less. If you guys caught on to the AEW Unrestricted, Christopher Daniels is also the talent relations. Basically, he doesn't mind doing a lot of the dark episodes, but that's how it's been for him. But however, this time they did come on top. Next match, we have Penelope Ford along with Kip taking on Miranda Elise. Once again, Penelope Ford continues to impress us. There was a moment, I'm not sure if and Miranda got hurt, that Penelope Ford got her knee right in her face. I'm not sure if there's any mention of that, but we'll see in the following days, see how that goes. But I hope she's okay. But Penelope Ford continues to win her matches. Next match, we got the Gun the Gun Club. Billy Austin and Colton taking on Baron Black, Jake St. Patrick, and Adam Priest. Now, as you know, the Gun Club, they win their matches all the time. And of course, you can't deny the fire of Austin. But it was a really good match. Really fun because I think I like the Gun Club, how fun they are. Next match, we have Jack Evans versus Dante Martin, one half of Top Flight. As you know, his brother Darius got injured. I have to say this match was pretty good. As you know, we rarely see tag teams be in singles competition unless they're those who started out as singles competitors and they work cohesively. Like we look at the Lucha Brothers. We know that both Phoenix and Penta are two of the best tag team, are best as a tag team, but also they're also good at singles competitor. But I have to say, Dante really impressed me. What impressed me in this match is when outside the ring he did a flip over the bike rail. I was like, whoa! But he pulled off a shooting star, a Canadian destroyer onto Jack Evans right outside of the ring. That's impressive. And of course, he finishes it off with the 450 splash, allowing himself to win. But however, his victory was crashed or cut short by the jealousy of Hybrid 2's member Angelico. But however, his brother Darius showed up. Now, he wasn't cleared to wrestle or anything. But when you attack his brother, he goes and he will not take that lightly. Now, this is very rare that we see. As you know, Taz for a long time has been trying to give notice to have AEW recognize the FTW Championship as a well-recognized title. It's a rogue title. Officially, it wasn't being recognized, but now it does. So Brian Cage put the title on the line against Brandon Cutler. I have to say this match really was interesting. To see Brandon Cutler against a guy like Brian Cage. If you guys know Brian Cage, he's not only just a very powerhouse wrestler, he's also very athletic. You've seen him how he fights. You face a guy like Brandon Cutler who's also very athletic. But however, the match ended with Brian Cage. However, they brought back the situation that took place last Wednesday where Brian Cage gave his respects and Taz doesn't know what to make of it. And of course, he didn't like it. But we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks for that. Next match, we have Ashley Voss, who we've seen, who also was with the NWA for a short while, taking on someone who I already mentioned in the NWA, Alex Gracia. You probably go, wait a minute, J Rod. How was she in both shows at the same time? There's a logical explanation. Those who don't know, AEW Dark is taped after Dynamite. So basically, she today could have been at in Atlanta, Georgia, along with Thunder Rosa, filming this, and of course, they'll probably be in Jacksonville the following day. But it's not unusual for me. But if you guys know this, that's how I see things. But however, to me, this match was a very, how do I say, different match for me. As you know, Alex Rossi did have maybe a win or two, but however, this match did not go exactly like this. Even Taz and Excalibur said it themselves. They were expecting Alex Rossi to win, but Ashley Voss won. Now, could AEW also be paying attention to her? I don't know. I mean, she is a tag team specialist with her sister called Sea Stars. Alex Gracia has been. I mean, I followed her for a while. I'm not sure, but those two women should be recognized, also be part of the women's division, even though a lot of people don't recognize them. But that's how it is. Next match, we have Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela taking on Vadi Morales and Seth Gargans. Now, this was another match where Janela and Sonny were putting themselves in a test. They lost a big match against Team Taz, but somehow they were able to put through together to come up with an amazing win. I'm like very happy that they won this match. They're still strong. I'd say they should be continuing as a team, but also competing as singles competitors like we normally see. They're good at in both. Now, this next match, we have an unorthodox alliance between JD Drake and Ryan Bennett. Now, JD Drake was already booked to be facing Fuego del Sol. I have to say it was a very interesting match. As you know, JD Drake has been very impressive. But I'm still trying to wrap my head up of the alliance between him and Bennett. I don't know what is the deal, but we'll probably find out. Even though Drake won the match. Next match, we got the captain, Sean Dean, taking on QT Marshall. Now, we still don't know what's going on. QT refuses to talk. I think this match was set up during Sammy's vlogs. It was, as you know, you could expect. He won exactly very competitively well. But however, it still doesn't explain what's going on with his recent attitude. That is something that is yet to be told. Now we got the Bunny taking on Jasmine Allure. I have to say the Bunny really we never seen her that very well as a singles competitor that much. We know she's been playing as manager role. Don't remember she did competed in the women's tag team tournament. I'm not sure, but it is. Oh yeah, she did. But we hardly see her as a singles competitor in AEW. But I have to say she did okay, or pretty good. However, you might want to see it. And of course, she won her match. Next match is a six-man tag team match. We got Carly Bravo, Brick Aldridge, and Dean Alexander taking on Dark Orders, Colt Boom Boom Cabana, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. I have to say, I love the Dark Order. Yeah, you heard me. But I say it's a very impressive match with them. As you know, Evil Uno and Stu are two of the best tag teams. We know their history before them. But, however, it was Stu Grayson who picked up the victory for his team while the others watch. But it was a good match. I'm not going to lie. Next match, we have members of the Nightmare Family, Aaron Solo and Nick Camarado, taking on Angel Fashion's D3. As you can guess, Nick Camarado is a monster. You know he will tear you apart. And of course, he was the one who picked up the victory. Next match, we have Caesar Bononi along with Peter Avalon taking on John Skyler. But I can tell you anyway, Caesar Bononi has been a very impressive wrestler to watch. He's a big dude. Um, I have to say, with him teaming with Peter Avalon, it kind of makes more sense for him to be in it. Was getting try to use to see, okay, how could this work? I have to say, with him and Peter, is a great combination. So I think that's it right now with AEW Dark. So let's move on and end it with Impact Wrestling. Okay, so I'm going to end this episode with Impact Wrestling as the opening match became a non-title match between Deonna Purrazzo along with Susan against legendary wrestler, and we know she is one of the best we've seen in the years, Jazz, along with Grace. Now you can guess typically that Deonna Purrazzo always has a plan, but however, there are times Deonna cannot control Susan. She has a different way of thinking. But I don't know, there will be a moment where we'll see Susan will take it too far and Deonna and Kimberly will regret it. But however, Susan did pull through it this time, interfering, or should I say, knocking out Jazz with a shoe. Yeah. Sooner or later we may see Su Yung back. Don't know when, but soon. Now, as you know, because of what happened in Sacrifice, it appears the Good Brothers are now in a state of paranoid. Apparently, they're being blamed for the loss of the Impact World titles. Eddie Edwards was not pleased with them for losing the titles to a couple of wrestlers to New Japan. And of course, the K. You don't know what to make of them every single time they come into your face. But once again, their paranoia continues on when they went to see Kenny, but he wasn't there. He was on his way to the ring. But however, Carl Anderson was in the main event against Eddie Edwards. And we'll get to that. Now, I don't know what to make of this commercial in Impact. Johnny Swinger's Palace. They use Alicia Edwards, Johnny Bravo, and the other women, thinking it's the best place to go. You use the money from Hernandez that you took from Tasha Steeles. Don't know what to make of it. Now, speaking of Falabal, Rohit Raju bumps into him acting like he's homeless because, of course, Fala was using a lot of his money at Swinger's Palace. And once again, Rohit Raju decides to get under his skin. But however, he was booked in a match against him. We'll get to that. Now, as you know, when you lose a title, you get a rematch. You cash it in. And the first one they got is the X Division title. So Ace Austin will puts his title on the line against the former champion TJP. Now, the match could have gone in TJP's direction, but however, you forget a factor. The factor is Madman Fulton, who's always been by Ace Austin's side. Apparently, ended in a disqualification match, allowing for TJP winning the match, but not the titles. However, this became a 2-on-1 scenario, and here comes Josh Alexander, who is now in the title hunt for the X Division title. So, I don't know when he'll be, even though Ace Austin knows he has a huge target on his back. The real question is, who's going to dethrone him? Now, we do know, other than Alexander, there is Gris Bay. We haven't heard anything from him yet. But we'll see where they're going to go with that. Now, there was a very interesting interview with Gia talking to Matt Cardona, how he's happy to be there. But of course, there's the elephant in the room. We're talking about Brian Myers, who believes that he followed him to Impact. Now, Matt did admit that he was happy for him when he signed with Impact, and then, of course, he got signed with Impact. Was it a coincidence? Yes, but not to Brian Myers. He thinks that he's there to ruin his moment. That's not true. But however, he didn't want to do this, but it was inevitable. He said if he wants to fight, then bring it. Now, the real question is, will Brian Myers pick it up? I don't know. Because he's always in a bad mood, believing that ever since Matt Cardona that he's trying to steal his thunder. But we'll see where they're going to go with that. Now, Trey Miguel has been agitated since his loss towards Sami Callihan. He just took his frustration out on the bags of Triple XL. But however, Tommy Dreamer said he had plans. Apparently he wants these guys involved in hardcore justice, which he is actually booking for. But however, Trey wanted a match. He said he wants a match against AC Romero, which is cool. But however, he gave like a little pep talk to Trey Miguel. He understands where he's coming from. Losing to Sami was a big loss, but however, we should not question he does have passion, even though Sami says he doesn't. I mean, he put up a hell of a fight the last time. But we'll get to that match soon. Now, Rohit Raju versus Falabal. Now, Rohit Raju's now had to deal with Falabal. As you know, he's been trying to get under his skin because he thinks he's not dealing a rough patch. He just thinks he's just a loser. But however, Rohit Raju got away with it by applying the pinfall by using his tights to ensure he wins. But Rohit Raju can say all he wants that he's the Desi Hitman. But the real question is, will he be on the hunt for the X Division title? Don't forget, he was an X Division champion. We don't know, but we'll see where it goes. Now, as you know, ever since AEW has been appearing at Impact, AEW once again did one of those advertisements bringing Don Callis and Kenny. And Tony Khan decided to rub it into Kenny's face about his match against Matt Sydal, which is the last thing Kenny wants, and he did not want to hear it. But he brought that on himself. Now, speaking of Kenny and Don Callis, they come out giving a very powerful promo. Kenny believes that he will obtain the Impact title, and Don Callis says there is no way for Rich Swann to kick out of the One-Winged Angel, because Don Callis believes that's how the history is going to be. He even made a video of the One-Winged Angel, and of course Kenny now believes that the entire wrestling world will bow down to him, to his awesome greatness. Now, to me, I felt this could have gone with Moose, and I forgot to do the little dinging where this and that, but we'll discuss that another time. So that's how I see it in this particular match, particular promo. But later it was responded by Rich Swann. He says he's well aware, but he said he has tricks up his sleeves to see how is he going to overcome the One-Winged Angel. It's not a joke. So he has been playing that as well. He's going to figure that out. But hopefully he does. Now we get to the match against AC Romero and Trey. The match was unbelievably amazing. You wouldn't expect a very small guy taking a big guy like AC Romero was going to do good. I have to say it was good. I don't if you guys know AC Romero does the thing where he knocks person out of the air. Who would have thought? But however, seeing Trey Miguel picking up victory was huge. But however, as soon as the match was over, Larry D comes out and attacks Trey. But all of a sudden, the lights goes off and it's Sammy defending Trey. I don't know what is going on here. But it's interesting to see. Is he now wrong about the fact that he does have passion like he claims he doesn't? I don't know. Now, as you know, recently we've been seeing Rhino. He aligned himself with Violent by Design. Apparently, he was baptized with the change, believing that they will beat the disease, that the world belongs to them. But the real question we're yet to see, when is Heath coming back and will confront Rhino? Because he'll believe this was a betrayal. Don't forget, it was Violent by Design, both Dorian and Young, that took him out, injured him. Now, we see an interview with Havoc and Avaya. I know they've been having their issues since not obtaining the tag team titles, but they feel like they want to take another shot at them. But however, Fire and Flavor decides to get involved in their interview, saying they got the attention. They said they'll give him another chance of the title. However, the only way they're going to do that, they have to beat them in a non-title match. As soon as that was said, once again, here comes Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with the K. It appears that they're trying to stir things up between both Nevaeh and Havoc. It appears that Tennille Dashwood believes that Nevaeh should side with her. So I don't know if that's going to happen because, as you know, in recency during the Knockouts Tag Team Tournament, Tennille does not maintain a good partnership. You should ask Alicia, ask Madison Rain, or anybody. So that's how I see it. Now, some good news from Legends of Impact Wrestling. We got James Storm. He has done 999 matches in Impact. Really great. But however, what kind of match should he have for a 1000? Luckily for him, when he was doing his interview along with Sabian, Scott D'Amore decided to give him the match he deserves against someone who has been a thorn on the Impact Wrestling side, especially for D'Amore, Eric Young. He wants a piece of him. He has no mind. But you know his old saying, sorry about your damn luck. That's a classic. So that's going to take place next week. Now the main event is Carl Anderson along with Don Callis taking on Eddie Edwards. Another good match. Now, as you know, the Good Brothers have been agitated since losing the tag team titles, but you wouldn't imagine. Now, keep in mind, these two individuals have spent their time in Japan. Carl Anderson in New Japan, Eddie Edwards learned from Pro Wrestling Noah in their dojo, which is something to be aware of. But however, the match did not go Eddie Edwards' way. Doc Gallows was told to sit down, but he used the chair to help the machine gun. But as soon as the match was won by Carl Anderson, they get a video message by the new Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions, FinJuice. And of course, they're gloating, mocking them. I didn't expect that. That must be embarrassing. But they will get their match in Rebellion. I can't wait to see that. So, I think that's pretty much it what we got today. I hope you guys enjoy these 3 reviews on a Tuesday. So, right now, I will see you guys the next time. The next video will be more Japanese wrestling. And also, the Wednesday Night War. So, I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time. on this DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.